All right, welcome back to the Just Fantasy Baseball podcast. And if I'm sitting on my couch, that means one thing. There's a Yankee game on TV. So Sunday Night Baseball, we're recording this during this, just about to get started in the Bronx. So it's been a rough series so far. So we'll start with that headline. Yeah, I could have recorded earlier, but my guy Vinny was out golfing all day. Good for him. I'm not jealous. I am jealous. All right. How you doing, bro?
Lost a lot of golf balls
mid
today.
swig. All right,
Yeah, no,
there you
it's
go.
okay. I lost a lot of golf balls today, but it was a beautiful day. I mean, that's half of the fun of golfing, right? And that's why I love baseball too, right? Part of it's just get outside, enjoy the day. And yeah, I haven't been following the Yankee series though. How bad has it been?
Well, so that's the number one headline. Juan Soto's hurt. And as much as Aaron Boone says, oh, he'll be back, or he's going to avoid the IL, or it could be as soon as he might pinch hit tonight, he might come back tomorrow. We've seen this 1,000 times. Aaron Boone is a liar. And he doesn't, I don't even know if he's lying as much as he doesn't even know. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. And so guess what? I don't know when we'll see Juan Soto. I really don't. He could come back tomorrow. He could pinch hit tonight. He could get surgery next week. I have no idea. I really don't. So that's the biggest headline to me. And the Yankees are proving that they are nothing without Juan Soto. Guess what? This team stunk last year without Juan Soto. They weren't a playoff team in a league where a million teams, everyone makes the playoffs, and they didn't make the playoffs. So guess what? The Yankees stink without Juan Soto. So you're not going to beat the best team in baseball in the LA Dodgers without Juan Soto.
So let me ask you this. Do I start Juan Soto in my weekly league where lineups will lock on Monday?
That's a great question. I have no idea. I would still start him this week until unless they announce he's going on the IL. Because as of now, he's not on the IL. I would start him because you don't want to have a situation where he's sitting on your bench and he ends up playing all week. So yeah, of course I would start him, and that's a great question. But
and I would think if you do get 3 days or, like half a week, maybe not 3, but like 3-4 days of Soto might be better than 6 days of,
yeah, I
whoever else
agree.
throwing in
No,
there.
for sure. And I
Mhm.
just wouldn't be disappointed if, again, this is a guy who he doesn't miss games. He played 162 last year, right? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if. So when my point is that he plays hurt, so he's more than just hurt. I'm sorry if you don't believe that he's more than just hurt. You're either a Yankee fan who's delusional or a Juan Soto owner who's lying to yourself. Like, he's more than hurt. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do see
I
went through
wouldn't
his
be shocked if
normal.
he went on. If all of a sudden he was on the injured list.
Sure. Yeah. All right. I'll start him and we'll go from there. Hopefully
Yeah.
he avoids it.
Alek Manoah did not avoid the injured list. We talked about him. He's going to be out for the
Mhm.
year. I know we talked about him, but it wasn't official yet that he was going to be out for the year. So he is officially out for the year. Also with, I guess it's the UCL, which is a Tommy John surgery, essentially. So that's another headline. Not something that, like, again, fantasy-wise, I'm not sure there were a ton of people who were rostering him still, but he did have a couple of good starts back-to-back, and then out for the year. I want to read you these stats from Gunnar Henderson, by the way. I posted this on my
Sure.
Instagram story. Gunnar Henderson in 2024 has 20 home runs in a season at age. This tweet's written really weird, so I'm sorry, but bear with me here. 20 home runs in a season at 22 or younger, 20 home runs in a season as a leadoff hitter, and 20 home runs in a season as a shortstop. No other player in MLB history has accomplished all three over their entire career, let alone in the same season. And he's done it with still 98 games to play.
And he's done it with what I'm assuming to be an extremely dead ball that a lot of people aren't getting.
You wanted to talk about this. Bring it up. Go for it.
I mean, again, I haven't done any digging, but unless there's some other explanation, I don't see why offense is down so significantly, because these are the rule changes were meant to boost offense, and we're not seeing it this year. It's kind of bizarre how bad it's been across the board. And maybe bad's the wrong word, but just down. Like, everyone is struggling. People that, especially the fringe power guys, like they're not getting to their power. And I mean, that's the only way that I can see it. And, sometimes even in games, right? Like, I don't know if you saw that video of Aroldis Chapman giving up, it was a fly ball, but he thought it was a home run. He threw his glove, right?
100%,
He was
yes.
pissed off. So, the players also, I think, are showing signs of that around the league as well. So
I was gonna go there because
yeah.
I've been to 7 or 8 games now this year, and across all ballparks. I've been to Citi Field. I've been to Yankee Stadium and Camden Yards. So I guess only 3 ballparks that I've been to so far this year. But again, 3 ballparks. I haven't seen the same team outside of the Yankees and the Mets. I've seen them more than once, but I haven't seen like a road team twice. So it's all teams, all ballparks. And I'll probably get to more by the time the season's over. And look, I never give the crowd too much credit. When I'm at a game and every fly ball fan's like, oh, they all of a sudden gasp. But and so, that's across the board. But I think this year it's been more because there's a certain sound, even the most trained baseball fan, there's a certain sound that you hear that you expect, ooh, that's a homer. And there's a certain way it looks off the bat, and balls have just been dying in center field. So, or the outfield anywhere. So, like I said, I don't want to give the fans too much credit because I think fans overreact as a whole to every fly ball. But I think, like you said, you're seeing the players themselves, and you're seeing even the most, I guess, seasoned fans who actually know what they're talking about, not know what they're talking about when it comes to fly balls this year. 2 more quick headlines before we get into our waiver wire pickups. Kevin Biggio, both from the AL East, and Harold Ramirez, both DFA'd. Harold Ramirez Kevin Biggio is a guy, prospect, highly touted, obviously, because of his dad. Didn't work out. Fine. The Harold Ramirez one is a guy who was under the radar, right? Has this great season for 2 consecutive years with the Rays. Everyone's like, oh, wow, who's this guy? Came out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden stinks and he's DFA'd. So the Rays have shown like that they can pull a guy out of nowhere and all of a sudden make him great, but they could also just as quickly, that guy could disappear back into obscurity. And they don't care if they move on. They're like, all right, on to the next random guy that we're going to pull out of our ass. And Luis Hill just threw a 95-mile-an-hour changeup. I love that for him.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
And
you know what's wild too? I just realized Harold Ramirez was hitting 268.
So you're saying he wasn't even struggling that much?
Like he's got no power. His OPS is 5.
Yeah, but again, that's across the league. The league average OPS is like everyone's in the 6s,
And I do want to say, I think the reason why it's important to have that ball conversation in the fantasy world is because I don't expect it to change.
Your
I don't expect it to change. So everyone, you're absolutely right. You have to change your expectations of, okay, I anticipate this guy to bounce back. Yeah. Another 95-mile-an-hour changeup?
He's froze Mookie with a 92-mile-an-hour changeup down the middle, and Mookie just stood there.
Absolutely disgusting. He's a man.
All right. No, I agree. You have to change your expectations. That's why the conversation we had last week regarding like, do you trade, or maybe it was earlier this week, when you do, like, what do you do? Do you trade starting pitchers for the hitters that actually are adjusting and are hitting well? And the answer might be yes.
Yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger on any of those trades, but it's certainly been tough because, I tend to build my teams around offense, and I think a lot of people do. And this year, it's hard because you miss on a lot of guys. And the fact that offense is down for everyone, well, the playing field is a little more level. So, I mean, it's important to keep in mind as the season moves forward that there may not be a change coming for some of these players.
Well, some of these players are hitting particularly well, so we'll talk about the waiver wire pickups that you may be able to find some value on. And I'm going to start with Gavin Sheets. And yes, a Chicago White Sox. I have a couple of Chicago White Sox as they keep losing, but their offense is picking up a little bit. Gavin Sheets, have you seen what he's up to the last week? 375 average, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 5 runs scored, and he's available in 95% of Yahoo leagues. You might find yourself an outfielder who could play first base too.
I think it's a good one. I think Gavin Sheets is legit. I mean, he's got power, and it's just this sucks for the White Sox, but my first waiver wire guy is our Twitter account has been blowing this guy up, but I just want to mention him because if you haven't picked him up yet, you absolutely should. Ride him while he's hot. Julio Ramos for the San Francisco Giants. I
had him written down.
1, 2, 3, 4 home runs in the past 10 games, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multi-hit games in the last 10 games. That's just ridiculous. So he should be rostered in every league regardless, and ride him while he's hot. I don't anticipate it keeping up, but this is fantasy baseball. Ride it.
Yep. I got another one for you. He was 0 for 4 today, but prior to that, this week, 417 on base, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. and 4 runs scored, and that is Wilmer Flores of the San Francisco Giants, also corner infielder, only rostered in 4% of Yahoo leagues. So might be a guy to look at as his season started slow, but he seems to be picking up. So Wilmer Flores, another guy to potentially roster.
I have two more actually that I just want to mention. One is Hurston Waldrop, pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, came up.
I picked him up today. I started him
Smart.
today. I was
Oh,
disappointed
that
today.
yeah, that I I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna give him
That
some
inning
time. Mm,
lingered, and there were some tough calls, and he just couldn't find his way out of it. And then the bullpen really blew.
yeah.
They blew it open against the bullpen. The Nationals did. So it wasn't all on him. I watched most of the start. One of the things that I hate MLB big inning is like the greatest concept. It's supposed to be um like red zone, right? And so it could be perfect. It could be incredible, and yet they are so bad at it. Like I haven't seen people take like such a great idea and foobar it so much, but then again, it's baseball, so I expect it. But like my point is that with MLB beginning, they leave that game as it's going to a pitching change with the bases loaded. Only 1 run in so far in the inning, so the damage hasn't been fully done yet. Or no, there's 3 runs in already in the inning because I think they scored 7 in the inning total. Damage not fully done, right? 3 runs in, and they never come back after the pitching change. They never come back to that game. Like it's a close game, it was a 1-run game, and they never came back to. Don't you want to see if if the bullpen's gonna come in and get the last out, or if the Nationals can break it open with the bases look? They never came back to it. Like that is just whoever's like producing that. They just need to do a better job of just everything. And like they'll go to random games. You talk about the fly balls. Anytime there's like a deep fly ball, they quickly jump to that game, and it's like, oh, it's an out. And then they stay on that game for like 20 seconds too long. It's like, oh, we just jumped to this game, so we need to stay. Again, I'm not saying it's an easy thing. It's baseball. It's different than football and red zone, whatever. I get that, but red zone, I think, has continually evolved. I think they need to do a much better job with MLB Big Inning because it could be really, really good. Like on a Sunday today, when I was just sitting at home, like I could have just watched 6 hours of it straight. And also, that's also part of the problem. They start at like 3 p.m. Why are you starting late? Start at 1 p.m. The game start at 1. Anyway,
You
I
could go out and
digress.
golf on a Sunday.
I would love to.
I also just realized we were flipped.
That's fine.
My last waiver wire pickup,
I'm
just a
Rami.
guy
That's Vince.
that what
I said I'm Rami. That's Vince.
um is a guy who just got called back up, Joey Loperfido, for the Houston
Wow, you're
Astros.
back.
So it is kind of weird, right? They called him up on, I want to say it was Friday, and he has not played in any of the games since he's been called up, which, okay, weird, whatever. He's up for Kyle Tucker while he's injured. But the reason why I think he's a good pickup, the fact that he hasn't played doesn't necessarily scare me right now because they're rolling out Chas McCormick, who's hitting 200, and they're rolling out Trey Cabbage, who like Trey Cabbage, but Joey Loperfido is better than these guys. And I just don't know how much rope they're going to give Chaz in particular, but I would just be shocked if they didn't start trying to get his bat into the lineup a little bit more. So Joey Loperfido is a guy that I'm trying to pick up everywhere for that reason, because I think over the next month or so, his playing time is going to start falling into place.
All right. Let's talk about some pitchers to stream. I got a couple. Who do you have?
So, actually, can you go first? I gotta switch my stuff over
Yeah,
here.
I got someone right here. I know we just talked about Washington and their offensive outburst, but I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think they're a great offense. So I have Kenta Maeda going against them on Tuesday. I know he hasn't had a great year for the Detroit Tigers, but the Tigers actually have been kind of hot. They look a little bit better, although I think today they went what, it was like 10-0 at some point. They had a 3-game losing streak prior to that, but they've looked a little bit better. So I would expect if you're in a wins league, you could probably steal an easy win. The Tigers at home are better than the Nationals, and the Nationals lineup, they have a couple guys in there. I know CJ solid and obviously Lane Thomas, but their lineup as a whole is not great. Although those uniforms they were wearing today were straight fire, straight heat. Like that's what the future of MLB uniforms should be. And I'm this is my like 10th rant of the day, but they're like these like pullover shirts. They're not the full button downs. Like the full button downs are so dated at this point. But the numbers and the letters on the back were nice and big. They weren't like the new jerseys, and the front was just sleek and cool. Whatever, it's just cool. Like it's time. Baseball
Yeah,
uniforms. Let's move forward. We're in the 21st
beautiful.
century. It's 2024.
I love.
Um,
We'll call this episode Rami's soapbox.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand on here the rest of the the rest of the time, and it's funny because I actually took notes and prepped for the actual show. But Kenta Maeda is going to be starting against Washington in jerseys that will be uglier than the ones they wore today, and I think that Kenta Maeda will have a good start. So go ahead, who's yours?
Okay. So my streaming picks, I'll start with just one here. Um, it's essentially I'm just picking anyone who throws against the Oakland Athletics right now. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've been following how bad they are, but they have been atrocious. So I mean, they have
Although I
the
do like JP
37.
Sears too.
Yeah, yeah, he was one that I had actually on my list, but I decided not to go with him. So I'm going to go with Randy Vasquez for the San Diego Padres, who's throwing against Oakland
JP Sears. Yeah.
on Tuesday, and Vasquez is only rostered in 15% of leagues, so he should be available in most. I'm not anticipating him to, strike out. He's got, his most strikeouts on the year is 6. Like you're not going to get a lot of strikeouts. He may bring your whip up. He gives up a lot of hits, doesn't walk a lot, but um, this is just quality start win potential right here. Oakland's just been horrible. If he can't get it done, maybe he shouldn't even be here. So, Randy Vasquez.
That was a great catch by Jason Hayward. I have another one for you, a guy who was booed off the mound his last start at home. And it's rough. I get it. But think about it this way. This guy hasn't had a spring training. He's coming in basically totally unprepared for the season. So he's off to a bit of a slow start, but he's proven his whole career that he's a professional pitcher. And he's playing against the Angels, who don't have a great roster. He's at home in Arizona, and that's Jordan Montgomery. I expect him to have a bounce back start. He's a guy who has pride. He's not going to get you a ton of strikeouts also. He's a little bit of a high whip guy also, but he could get an easy win at home. The Diamondbacks are better than the Angels. And also, I expect him to come back and have a really good start. Go 6, 7 innings, keep it within just a quality start, really, like within 2 to 3 runs, because he's a better pitcher than what he's been. It's tough with no spring training for him to just come in cold and adjust. And I think he's going to have a good start for the Diamondbacks on Tuesday.
My fantasy team would love that. Really excited for that one.
And he's rostered, and he's barely rostered. Like
Mhm.
people are giving up on him. People are
Yeah,
dropping. I
right.
think he's down like 17%.
Hmm.
Was a nice catch by Hayward, but they called it no catch. I think after
Oh
review,
well, so you
oh
lied.
no, it's under review still. All right, we'll see.
Okay, yeah, we'll tune in right after this. My next streamer is again throwing against Oakland on Thursday for the Minnesota Twins. That is Simeon Woods Richardson, a guy that we've picked as a streamer on this podcast a few times, and it's always worked out pretty well. He did have one bad start earlier in May against
Yep,
Toronto, but
correct.
since then, 5 starts of less than 3 earned runs. So Simeon Woods Richardson against the Oakland Athletics. He's only rostered in 46% of leagues. This one is an absolute no brainer. Yeah, he should be in everyone's lineup on Thursday.
Yeah, the call was overturned, as I know you were. Do you have any other streaming pitchers? Okay, so let's go to the MVP of the week. I was gonna go with Ramos. I had him written down, but I didn't want to use him anyway. So I'm happy you mentioned him earlier because he did have an incredible week. I don't. Did you read his stats from last week? I
Yeah,
know he was
some
over
of
4
them. I
today,
mean,
but
I didn't go through his slash
621
line,
on
but yeah.
base,
Mhm.
4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 5 runs scored, just absolutely ridiculous. But I had someone else who is near and dear to my heart because he is on my a bunch of my teams. I apologize. And that is TJ Friedel, was the number 3 ranked fantasy player in the league. He had a 433 on base, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. Just all across incredible numbers from my guy. And like I said, the number 3 overall ranked fantasy baseball player in fantasy baseball this last week, TJ Friedel of the Cincinnati Reds, is my MVP of the week. And by the way, if you are not on TJ Friedel, only rostered in about 60% of Yahoo leagues, he's available. Go get him.
He absolutely should be rostered because I think
Yeah,
he's
he's
extremely
great.
underrated. He's extremely
Yes,
underrated.
he's been good.
Love
He
that
was
call.
great last year
Mhm.
too. And he was hurt this
My
year. That's different. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
right,
probably why a lot of people just were like, "Oh, well, he's hurt. So when he comes back, like, what's the difference?" No, I
right.
held on to him. I actually had him on my
I
IL. I
did too.
never dropped him.
I did too. My MVP of the week only through one start. This is more about just me giving a guy flowers who we don't give flowers a whole lot to, and we absolutely should
Let's
be
give
giving them
flowers.
to Zach Wheeler. Like we've talked about him as just a
Yep.
stud, but we don't go beyond that. And I mean, his last start, 7 innings, 1 earned run. Like his season numbers just look phenomenal. 2.23 ERA, 9.67 WHIP, 91 strikeouts, and 80 innings. I mean, he's a big reason why the Philadelphia Phillies have been as good as they are. And
Yeah, that and the fact that they've only played 6 games against teams over 500. Those 2 reasons are the
hmm,
reasons why they're so good.
I didn't know that stat. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't
4 and
see
2
that.
against teams over 500.
But
Like, to
Zach
put it in
Wheeler,
perspective, the Yankees have played 32 games against teams over 500.
hmm, that does put it in perspective.
It
Thank you.
does.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, good teams beat up on bad teams. Like, you're supposed to that if you're a good
Yeah,
team, you're
right,
supposed to beat
right.
up on bad teams.
Yeah.
So, they're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you can only play against who's on your schedule, but, like, adjust like, when you talk about them as the best team in the league, okay, relax.
You're just mad because you think the Yankees are the best team in the league, and
I
you
don't.
feel
I think the
threatened.
Yankees are shit without Juan Soto. Aaron Judge's last 32 games, they have this up on ESPN now. 409 batting average. That's batting average with 17 home runs and
We
39
actually,
RBIs.
I'd like to get your thoughts too, because
Trade him.
we were
Trade
just
Aaron
thinking
Judge.
about like I was talking with a buddy. Do you think the Yankees are? Does it feel like a glass house of sorts, or do you trust where they're at? Do you think okay, this team is legit? They're playing at their level, or do Juan Soto goes down or Aaron Judge goes down? Like, is that it?
Um, okay. First of all, if Juan Soto or Aaron Judge go down, yeah, they're cooked. Like, that's obvious. Like, again, I know they've survived this long without Garrett Cole, but October 1st, as Glass now just had 2 strikeouts in the first, like, very solid first inning from him. October 1st comes, playoffs start. If Soto, Judge, and Cole are not all healthy, then yes, this team
Okay.
sucks. There's nothing to it. They need all 3 of those guys. But beyond that, I need the Yankees to continue to have this all-in mentality, I call it. I need to see the Yankees not just play well. I want to see them make an improvement at least 2 of first, second, and third base. Anthony
Yeah.
Rizzo has 1 hit. He's 1 for his last 39. I'm sorry, they benched him today. They said he'll probably sit tomorrow also. If that doesn't reset him, if that reset doesn't get him going, Phantom IL, whatever you have to
Mhm.
do, enough. I love the guy. I think every Yankee fan, he's so important to that. Keep him in the locker room. That's fine. I'm not saying DFA him. I don't know what you do. Just he can't be playing. Like he's worthless. Gleyber Torres with the mental errors, like, and I like
Yeah.
don't think they're going to do anything about it because they haven't. Like, the difference between the Yankees and the Mets? The Mets actually benched Jeff McNeil for 5 games because he was terrible because of the things he was doing because they needed to hold him accountable. It's been 5 years
Mhm.
of Gleyber Torres making the same dumb mistakes, and they still won't do anything about it. And LeMahieu's been better, so okay, fine. So you want to play him either at first, second, or third? Put LeMahieu at one of those spots. Trade for a real second baseman. Trade for a real third baseman. And until they do that, no, I don't take this team seriously.
Okay. Because I was watching them yesterday against the Dodgers, and it made me laugh when Verdugo, I don't know if you saw that, came in and had the ball hit over his head. I don't know if you caught that one, but it
No,
made
I
me
didn't
laugh. I
see
don't
it,
know how
but
bad of an outfielder he is. I didn't think he was bad, but
Verdugo's been great for them this year,
yeah.
though, and he's
Mhm.
been excellent in left field. He's been actually top in the league in like defensive run saves. So he's
Mm,
actually been really good defensively this year. So
good to hear.
yeah, no, I know he's made defensive mistakes in the past, but and with Boston they talked about that a little bit. But as a corner outfielder, he's not a good center fielder. But as a corner outfielder, he's really good. But no, yeah, this team, first of all, like you said, they are 3 players. They have 3 key players that if any one of them are down, even again, one of them. Look, Soto's down. I know Soto and Cole are down now. So, you know, if it's basically they're 1 player deep and the rest of the roster is not that good.
Yeah. Okay. So long-winded way of saying Zach Wheeler is my MVP of the week.
Good one. Did I already give mine? I did, right? I told you TJ
That's
Friedel.
yes, you said TJ.
All right. What a man. This is gonna be some episode. Good luck to the editors. I appreciate you
Yeah, yeah.
guys.
Sorry, editors. Yeah, you guys. We should do a shout out for them at some point too. I know we have on the ends, but they work
Yeah,
hard. They do
yeah,
really
if you
well.
could pull up their names again, that would be great. I'd look for that text. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
man.
my lock of the week, that's the next segment. Lock of the week. I mentioned that I like the White Sox. I have a White Sox for you. Isn't that shocking? Paul DeYoung. Have you seen what he's been up to? Uh 4 home runs in the last week, 9 RBIs, 6 runs scored, on base over 350. So Paul DeYoung been really good, and he's a shortstop where some people struggle to find sustainability there. I am one of those people who struggles to find sustainability at shortstop, although I've been using Josh Smith as my shortstop, and he's been awesome for the Texas
Mhm.
Rangers. So just shout out Josh Smith. But I like Paul DeYoung this week to have a big week for the White Sox.
I love it. Love to hear it. Yeah, you're a big White Sox fan all of a sudden.
Big
Very
White Sox guy.
Yeah. I actually made a prediction recently that I think they end up. So last year, the worst team in baseball was the Oakland Athletics with 50 wins. I
Yeah.
think they have fewer than 50 wins. That was my bold prediction. I think they're at 17 right now. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
they've been terrible.
Yeah. My lock of the week, and also real quick, John McCoy and Caleb Moody. That
I was about to,
yeah.
yeah, I have
I
them in
don't know
front of
if
me.
that's only who does it, but they do a
Yeah.
lot. So thank
All
you
right,
guys.
well, keep going.
My lock of the week is Vinny Pascantino for the
Mm,
Kansas City Royals. He's been okay. He's been good, right? The last week he's been really, really good, though. I will say he brought his average up from 224 to 243 now, and I didn't realize. I mean, he's been quietly producing in the RBI department as well. He's got 43 RBIs.
Italian
Um,
stallion.
he's the what's the nickname? The Italian breakfast is his nickname.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
that's beautiful. 43 RBIs in 62 games. I mean, that's a phenomenal pace with a 243 average. Given how offense has been down, you're absolutely going to take that. He's the eighth best first baseman in baseball. So I don't know if, I mean, I assume most people have him at their starting first base, but I could see in especially shallow leagues where maybe you have Bryce Harper at first base or whatever, you're not putting Vinny P there, but Vinny P should absolutely be a lock in all of your lineups. Um,
There
Especially
have been
given
a
his
lot of
average.
really good first basemen, though. That's the one thing I found. Like in my league where we don't have corner infield, we have 2 utility spots and then 1 per like infield. I have Freddie Freeman and Bryce Harper, so I've been having a really hard time, with trying to fill positions with first base, like a guy who they're always first baseman. Anyway, so those are our locks. Anything else you wanted to get to?
No, no. Just looking at some of the first basemen, it is much deeper than I thought. I mean, Matt
Yeah,
Olson is
first
the
base is deep.
14th ranked first baseman.
And I mean, Pete Alonso has been great. Like his numbers, I think his home runs are kind of empty, but the numbers are like decent.
Josh Naylor, absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
About him a
Yeah.
whole lot, but I mean, 220 average. You don't love
Everyone
that
but
with
Anthony
16 home
Rizzo.
runs. Well, I mean, the Cubs. I'm totally drawing up Michael Bush. He hasn't been good.
Yeah, no.
Good.
All right. That's gonna do it for us. Until next time, like, subscribe, share the podcast. Shout out to John McCoy and Caleb Moody. Appreciate you guys for
Thank you guys.
helping out. Good luck with this one. And until next time, I'm not going to be here on Wednesday, but I'm assuming you'll take care of the people.
Can do that. Yeah.
So until then, maybe I'll send you some of my picks on
Okay.
Monday or Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'll send you some of my so you could give me a shout out. I'm sure you'll be very kind to me when I'm
Oh,
gone.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll
as
always say nice
always.
things about you.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'll have a haircut by next time too, because I keep looking at this like, oh my god, what is going on? So
Gonna enjoy
until
the
then,
basketball
find
game
out
tonight. Yeah.
what was that?
Enjoying the basketball game tonight.
Oh,
You're
I will
gonna,
be
yeah.
enjoying the NBA Finals tonight.
Yep.
So if you want to find out whether Rami cuts his hair or not, tune in next episode or in 2 episodes when I'm back. And the way to do that is to like and subscribe and share the podcast with a friend so we can keep growing the show. Until then, see ya.